Are we live?
Wait.
We're live.
Oh shit, we're live. Are we in the building?
Trying to score the perfect goal.
Wait, 1 minute. Give me 1 second, people. Give me 1 second.
I played in a team where we were regarded as the passing team, and we were accused all the time of trying. Only when we lost or drew by the staff, we were accused all the time of trying to score the perfect goal. If you watch Man City play, that is the accusation you make against them. They're trying to score the perfect goal all the time. When you've got someone with assets that Haaland has, use them. You've got 25 goals already.
I want to ask you in a moment what this all means in terms of the bigger picture and the wider context for Manchester City moving forward, because we're going to hear from Pep Guardiola shortly, and we'll also be talking more about the record breaker tonight, Harry Kane. About what the future holds for him now he has become Spurs' all-time record scorer.
We're live. We're live, by the way.
Yes, people. The only reason man come dressed like this is because this is how United got me feeling this week. Got me feeling a little splashy, a little drippy. You get what I'm saying? So I had to come in. Little bit of the glasses, little bit of the hat, little bit of Della Norte shirt. You know how I'm feeling, man. You know, how are you today? How are you today, Lavish?
You know, one thing about Arsenal, one thing about my club, we're a praying club. We're a club that prays. We're a praying
club that prays, relies on the Jesus. I hear.
We're a praying club. And hey, that's all I'm gonna say. So I'm happy. I'm faithful.
It's not by accident these results coincide. It's not by accident.
It's not by chance. It's not by chance. Not by luck. But I'm happy because we have a God who answers. We have a God who hears prayers. And God's door's always open to us now.
God never says no. He just says not yet. Please, can I get a few clicks? Can I get a Bible?
You can get amen. You can get amen. That's what you can get. You can get an amen.
Mr. Austin said, Banks, your team is back in the title race. We don't do that. We're not in no title race.
You go pray, says Banks, go in Benidorm.
See, you lot just need to hit me up with the holidays because I'll be there. I'm ready.
That's disrespectful as hell saying you go in Benidorm. Come on, man. It's Banks nuts, man. It's not Benidorm, it's Dubai.
Dubai, too busy.
Habibi, I'm to Dubai.
Market shares, Nathan. Thank you for the hate. You're what keeps me going, really. Like
yeah, man. One thing they taught me in journalism school: once that hate starts coming, that means you're doing something right.
You get it. They wouldn't hate if they didn't want to see it. Come on, you Spurs, yeah. Was you rooting for Tottenham today? Would you like?
No.
Did you do a little fist pump when Harry Kane scored?
No, I don't celebrate when Harry Kane scores.
A little bit of a Lee Gunner vibe. That was the most savage video I've ever seen because he loves England. But the fact that he couldn't celebrate England. That was the most savage thing I've ever seen. I've never seen that before.
And you know what the sad part is? It wasn't scripted. It wasn't doing it for the cameras because he said that he doesn't celebrate Harry Kane well after that video. Well after that video came out, like, and they pulled up the tape, like, no joke, actually, this guy don't for years before. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's run the tweets in a couple of chats. You guys put our lives in your spaces, you lot. So everyone that's in here, all the 4 people that's in here, put this tweet in our spaces because I feel like this is going to be a good one. One thing at TF3, one thing we always promise good conversation, good, and one thing we promise is to teach. Even though we're gender driven, sometimes we're going to leave you with something to think about. We're going to give you a food for thought to go into the week. So join this space. Let's talk some football. And please put your comments in and let's get this going. Banks, we didn't run the rhythm, but what people already hear, they know the jingle. They're not trying to hear it. Let's just get straight into it. What are we? Game week 21 or 20? We're 21, 20.
Game week 21.
I'll say it's 21. Yeah, some people play 21, some people play 20. Where do you want to start, boy?
Boy, let's start with the 12:30. We've got to start with the league leaders. He's always.
Let's work our way backwards though, because I think everyone wants. They just came off fresh off everyone came fresh out of North London right now. I think we should go there.
You want to go there? I'll let you go there. I'll let you take the lead. We go North London.
Firstly, shout out Harry Kane. I put it in the chat. Shout out Harry Kane. 200 and how many goals? I can't remember. 200 plus. 70 something, 71 goals, I believe. That's a big feat. I put it in the chat that one of his goals might actually contribute to a title. It's just tongue in cheek, but big up him. Big up him for doing that at Spurs.
That was as we say, we talked about Haaland and the big games before on tier 3. This was actually
no
was
agendas
actually
yet. Let's just wait.
no. I feel like, as you said, Kane, big goal in the big game. I feel like obviously with Haaland coming to the league, naturally 25 goals by January, just that, like, you're not gonna get much shine off. Like, if there's somebody doing that, it's hard for anybody else to get shine.
But this is one of his best seasons performance in terms of goal wise. He's doing very, very well.
That's
but
what
obviously,
I'm saying. No one cared. Like, when Haaland's doing what he's doing, no one really cared. But the fact that when they came up together, up against each other today in North London, boy, there was one striker that showed up.
One thing I was gonna say about Kane, because this is where I jump off this Kane hype. In the 9 years in which he's played, like when he's burst onto the scene back in 2012 or whenever it was, every season in which he's performed, they always question, oh, he can't move, he's slow. Can he do it in the big games? Can he do it? Can he do it at certain stages? And aside from like maybe his final record, his performance in final, he's always answered. So credit to him. Two things that needs to change for him to cement his legacy. He needs to leave Tottenham. He needs to leave Tottenham, or he needs to win a significant trophy at Tottenham. If he wins a Carabao Cup or FA Cup, it means nothing. If he wins a Europa, I guess he does okay. But he needs to win something of substance at Tottenham. Or for me, I think it's easier to leave. That being said, it's a great achievement, but there's still that chink in his armor because all those goals have technically amounted to nothing but golden boots.
All right. While I do agree that the legacy isn't that, I think he would even. I don't see how he doesn't agree in the sense that if he doesn't compete for the best trophies during this next part of his career, I don't see how he'd really like to go forward without being in a team that can compete for those big trophies. I don't see him like not wanting to do that. So you're right in the sense that he needs the trophies to sort of validate everything that he's doing. Like, nobody would ever doubt his Tottenham status, Tottenham legend, whatever, Premier League legend, like mad goal scorer. But you want to be part. Like,
Are we putting him in the Premier? Are we putting him in the Premier League top 10 strikers?
Premier League top 10?
You can't.
No, he's not going to be. But
you can't.
You
can't.
He's not. But still, that doesn't invalidate the fact that he's done that in the Premier League. As I said,
no, he has done that. He has done that.
Yeah, so you're right about in the sense that he's gonna need this next part of his career to be trophy validated, because everyone knows you're a bad boy striker. The next step is that contributing to winning. In terms of this match, I'd say Kane played a blinder today against this City team, because even take away his goal, he was still impacting the game, which is something that, again, a lot of people questioned about the other side of his game. Like, oh yeah, he's always away from the box. He's not, like, he's doing all the link up play, the number 10 play, but is he like, we need you to be a striker, all of that shit. But now we see today, that's where that stuff actually comes in useful. Like, you're playing against City. You're not going to have most of the ball. You're going to need to keep that ball and make sure that you're using that ball appropriately. And when you have Kane that's dropping into those pockets, sometimes you saw him in that left-back position. They got Manuel Kanji to follow him all the way there, holding up the ball, doing like those sort of things. You can't doubt the impact that has when you're playing that sort of game against Man City, when you know you need to value every possession that you have. So,
who was another outstanding performance from who else at Tottenham?
Emerson Royale. Cannot lie to you. I didn't see it coming. Sometimes you just need to kick up the bum because they sign a right back and now you put in your best performance of the season. Yeah, I ain't never seen you act like that, Emerson Royale. I've never seen you act like that. Sometimes you just need to kick up the bum.
Okay, so let's get through some of these comments before we jump onto City. This is what I was going to get into.
About your boy Jack Peter Grealish.
But that's City. I was going to say, is there any Tottenham comments before we jump on City? I was being honest.
Annual Spurs win against Man City. They still haven't scored in this stadium. Man City still haven't scored in this stadium.
That's a very bad record. That's very bad.
Let's be a red card for, so get onto that.
Cool. Let's just go on to City then. But shout out Spurs for the win. We needed that. You helped us. All right, let's get on to City. Firstly, the lineup. A lot of the pundits were making
Interesting lineup.
a big hoo-ha about the fact that KDB is not playing. Is this the first time Pep's done something like this with KDB specifically? I don't believe so. But for me personally, I feel like not that it's warranted, but I don't think it's that much of a big deal because I don't think KDB's good since the World Cup. Been good since the World Cup. I feel like
he hasn't been KDB standards. You're right. But for me, this was still very much a case of, again, you play and it's never really 4-4-2 because you've got Lewis in midfield and Julian Alvarez dropping into the 10. Like in possession, it was a completely different performance, completely different formation. But at the same time, you look at how City played and the fact that, and they made a big point of it on the commentary, the fact that Haaland was making these runs and they weren't looking for him. They weren't looking, so he was ineffective. But the only person you can really be sure is gonna attempt to make those passes is KDB. You have to if you want to make the most of Haaland, as you said, Haaland doesn't have the facilities of Kane in terms of the all-round play. That's just we know that about Haaland. That's not his game. But we know Haaland is absolutely lethal when you're playing balls into him and you're making him chase onto through balls. We know he can be lethal. So the fact that you've got him up there and you're not playing that style of play, or at least mix it they never mixed it up. Bernardo Silva never playing that ball through. Rodri again, never really playing that ball through. If Haaland's not even getting that chance to run in, you're stunting a huge part of your game. You're stunting a huge part of Haaland's game. You have to, if you're not gonna play Kevin De Bruyne, the other players have to be willing to take on that responsibility and play.
Okay, so he doesn't play KDB, and then he plays out. I think if you don't play KDB and you try to do the two up top, I think the issue for me was trying to play Alvarez. I don't think the two up top works, or because we've not seen it work perfectly. I think in the last game City did it.
I think they did it against
in the previous game after the Tottenham
done it against Spurs as well.
Yeah. So, but all in all, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on it, to be fair, but I don't think that's the reason why City lost today. I think City lost today because Spurs were very good as well, and also they didn't turn up. It was a tale of two. We need to talk about certain disaster classes. So, in one of the comments, Nathan says, "Let's jump on this now." Shems, we need to talk about your boy Jack Peter Grealish. Man got palled by Chicory at a bottom five, right? Okay, I would say Jack Grealish is one of Man City's better players today.
I agree with that.
I feel like the whole team played. I feel like the whole team played badly, but he was by far one of City's better players. Like clearly one of City's better players.
I agree with you in the sense that he was one of their better players, but it was still such an ineffective shot. Again, he's doing so much dribble, but it was never really direct at Emerson Royale. That's why I think Emerson Royale had a very good game because he was able to make their best player, which was Grealish, basically a non-factor. For me, Grealish didn't really have a massive impact on the final third. He was the player that kept it ticking.
He was the only one.
He was the only one but it still wasn't enough. It wasn't effective.
Okay, so it's like, but when you say a comment like this, it kind of like, okay, yeah, Grealish was poor compared to the rest. They were all poor. He was even the best. He was the best poor one. But for me, if you want to talk about the fodder of the litter, the worst performances I saw today, let's go to the comment just above.
Hospital. The same goal that they conceded against Spurs. That's what's so crazy. It was literally
for me. Don't start here with Rodri, but now it's easy to get this agenda off.
What agenda do you need to get off? Get something off your chest right now.
What is Rodri? As a DM, what is Rodri? Like, put in the comments, you lot. Everyone that's in the comments, what type of DM is Rodri? People say Busquets, maybe because it's a Spanish thing. But I think it's disrespectful to Busquets because Busquets could get tackled even though he gets ran past. He could tackle in a one-on-one. I don't think Rodri's that good of a tackler. I feel like he's mobile, but he always looks like he's chasing. He's just missed his bus. You need to understand, Rodri is very good and on the ball. Like it pleases the eye because on the ball, it's like a Thiago Motta type of like 2 touches, the ball goes. It just doesn't sit with him for too long, and it's beautiful to watch. In transition, very few DMs are good in transition. Obviously, Casemiro, Fabinho a couple seasons ago, Partey as well. now. But Rodri's not one of them. But for me, in the standing tackle, sometimes it's a bit like
Soft.
it's like we overlook it because more time when he does this, City win games. City win game. But today I put in the chat, Rodri hasn't made one tackle today. And you're like, oh yeah. But now they've lost, so it's like Rodri had a disaster class. So for me, the chain ain't fake, but I don't think the chain's as durable as we thought. You know them ones where
I think again, because you've had literally you now compare Rodri to Casemiro. He literally plays the same role, does the same thing, and you see Casemiro like all the areas a top DM like Casemiro can impact. Now you look at Rodri and he's like, as you said, like in terms of the 1-2 touch, there's not many better in the Premier League in terms of getting that ball into the next hand. There's not many better. But then you have to think about on the other side of it, who's winning their duels. I remember the goal against the goal for Spurs, I think it was Emerson Royale in the last match, where Kane just literally meets him there. Is a duel. Who's gonna win it? You have in that sort of situation in the box, a duel, you have to win it. And Kane went through him, took a shot, Emerson Royale scores the rebound. Again, here, like as you said, he just in terms of in transition, Spurs were having a field day. In transition, they were having a field day essentially.
Because as a DM, you have to be in transition, and you're the one that don't make the transition look too bad because you're allowed to step out and engage. You're never on the back line. The back line's always backpedaling more time in transition, and they have to go. No. But and you know one thing, Rodri. You know why Rodri's been allowed to get Rodri's chain ain't been rusty. Like he always put because Rodri, they don't give him yellow cards. Like they really don't give it.
I can't lie. For me, that's a sign of a top DM. If you manage to give away like
I feel like the refs boy it. So they're like an absolute aura of Rodri, and it's actually so bad.
Fernandinho used to do this for Fernandinho will literally commit 6 fouls before the referee did. Oh shit, he's been fouling all game. I need to give him a yellow card. The top DMs will get away with it. The top DMs do it. I don't know what skill it is or how they got the skill. But the top DMs will give away 4 because in that DM position, you're gonna need to give away fouls.
One of them, it's very rare that you come out clean all the time.
You have to give away fouls, but it's about how long can you give away fouls before getting a yellow card that hampers your performance. After you get the yellow card, you know you can't be as aggressive. If you can get to like 65 minutes before you get that yellow card, your job's done because from there you can manage it.
This is a lie.
What, Rodri?
Yeah, this is a lie. He can receive the ball in a half turn still. This is a lie still. But yeah, I agree with the last comment.
He's the best player in the Prem.
Sorry, I agree with the last comment. Fernandinho could do the standing and sliding tackle. Lastly, before we jump off Citibank, can we talk about Bernardo Silva?
Disinterested. I don't think it's unfair to say he's looked disinterested because this is a player that actively, like everyone knows, he wanted to go, and City's essentially said, "You got to rock it out." Because
but you've let everybody else go, so it's like, why me?
Yeah, literally everyone else has gone, but trying to find the top quality midfielders to replace you in that amount of time, maybe that's why they didn't want to let him go. Maybe there was too much turnover, as you said. They lost Gabriel Jesus, Sterling,
Cancelo now,
Zinchenko, all of these were in the summer. Like that's a lot of title winning experience that they lost in one summer. If they let Bernardo Silva go at the same time, maybe he's thinking that's too much upheaval. But this season is for large parts of the season, it looked like a player that's disinterested. That like
disinterested because he not completely like just doesn't run back as much. See the running back we saw Grealish doing? That was Bernardo Silva all the last 3-4 seasons.
Bernardo Silva used to be everywhere. He used to be everywhere, but
and then even going forward, he was potent.
For me, he's drifting. He drifts through games. He's that's how he looks like. I saw him a couple of times pop up on the right wing, do a little jiggy, and then nothing. You see him in the midfield, and he's just there. It's like before you could. This is not me saying like a top midfielder has to be dribbling, has to complete 7-8 dribbles a game the way he was doing, or like the way he was dribbling, like making one of those every single game. But there's no spark to it. There's no magic that there used to be. Like when he was carrying. As I said, the last time City won the Premier League, for me, Bernardo Silva was a big factor in it. Massive factor, bigger than De Bruyne. It was when De Bruyne got injured and it was time for players like Bernardo Silva to take the mantle. That's when they really started going on that run. and I just haven't seen that sort of player from Bernardo Silva.
Yeah,
So
I
for
agree.
me, it's not
I
a quality
completely
issue. Sorry, let me say this last thing. It's not a quality issue for me with Bernardo Silva. It's literally just this looks like a player that wants a new environment is not there fully. And you know what? Pep said it the best. Like, the team that you have at the start is never gonna at the start of your reign is never gonna, the same players are never gonna be there at the end, because like the mentality to keep going at the same club is tough. It's tough.
Nathan, to answer this comment, it was a great comment. I don't think it's time yet. Nathan, we can address this comment like in the knockout stages of the CL. I think that's where we're really going to judge City, if we're going to be completely honest, in terms of losing the dressing room.
I think we've been through a similar cycle. Like, I think Pep has been through a similar cycle at this point. No, not at this point, but at City before, where he's had players that maybe didn't want to stay, that were getting a bit itchy for a move, and he needed to recycle them out of the team. He needed to do that in order to regenerate the team. As you said, you can't have the same players winning time after time after time again. So I wouldn't say he's lost. I think the dressing room is still behind him. I won't lie. Even though that this has been a poor season for them in the Premier League, in the cup, Carabao, that they usually just walk with. It's been a poor season for them, but I don't think the players are turning on Pep. I don't think they're itching to get him out. I think they're ready to go through it. Like, I think Pep wants to go through another cycle. Don't be surprised if City go and blow the stupid bag this summer. Don't be surprised if they go and blow the stupid bag this summer, because it's definitely going to be a regenerating thing where they need to regenerate the squad.
Okay,
don't be surprised if players that are hungry to win titles at City. So I don't think he's lost the changing room. I think definitely if by next season and this time next year, and you still got City players that and City are still playing at the same level, then I'd agree. But for me, they're at a transition stage as well. City just tend to do transition better than other clubs.
Let's go to the Merseyside, the blue side.
The blue side of Merseyside.
Merseyside.
Oh my God, Sean Dyche. We've missed you in the Premier League.
I feel like it was written. I feel like that game was personally written in terms of Saturday 12:30 kickoff. New manager bounce. Sean Dyche, Everton.
Did you see that tweet on Twitter about imagine if football had scripts?
I saw a trend. Obviously, Tamanat was sending me tweets and stuff, so I didn't get it. But I think people were saying like just script, like how does football work out.
Bro,
it was funny. I saw
as you said, fam, man said Sean Dyche, new team,
12 Saturday 12:30 kickoff. Sean Dyche, new team.
Everton away.
Everton away
for Arsenal.
Do you get relegation battle? Do you get Tarkowski and Thingy as centre back? It's only going one way. Like now, all jokes aside, I feel like Everton. Sean Dyche did that was Sean Dyche though, bread and butter. Everton played Everton. If you played Everton last week, Arsenal win that game, and it's partly Everton played. They played to script, and Arsenal, that was the worst game we played all season. Comfortably the worst game played all season. No Arsenal player played well. For me, it even has me questioning the signing. We'll get into that. For me, like I say, I question. I don't want to see in the Prem game anymore. Vieira, just tame. Fabio Vieira's tame. Absolutely tame.
He came off
Sean Dyche had Dwight McNeil and Mikalenko doubling back, and he had Iwobi and I can't remember Seamus on the other. Like they were so flat enough. They were so flat, and then he said, Sean Dyche said, "Make Everton black again." They never was black, but make Everton black again. He had Decore, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and Onana in the midfield three. Arsenal's not getting anything from that game. In that midfield thing. You think Zinchenko playing it, tucking in against them three? It's not going to make any difference. You got Decore. Who there do you think you can move? Who do you think you can run past? Who there do you think you're more physical than? You think your nice, neat touches? They took it to made Arsenal like the Arsenal of old. Why? I blame this loss. So I think Arteta got out coached, and it's fine. It hasn't really happened.
In what sense could Arteta have done something different?
You lot, all right, all the people in here, listen up. Listen up.
Wait, you lot. This is going to be the coaching segment. This is tactics. This is from the tactics boards from Lavish. So listen in. Go for it.
What Arteta should have done to win this Everton game. Arteta should have won. For Arteta to win, for Arteta to win this Everton game. Grant, you had yourself looking. Banks looked like the guy on BBC when his son come into the thing and he was doing in the news thing, and yeah, and everyone thought it was the housekeeper. Nah, I am in tears. I am in tears. Don't worry, I'll be quick. I know you got family around. I'll be quick. What Arteta could have done to win this Everton game, honestly, it doesn't start this weekend. It started like on the 29th of January. Look, I say the bid messed up. He bid for Onana. Him and Anthony Gordon did not go to training. Their head was turned. You bid for Onana. Onana doesn't start this game against Everton. Onana does not start the game against Everton if you bidded for him. Sean Dyche would say he needs some time away from the squad.
You didn't see the hey, bro. I saw one Instagram post that Onana said, and he was like, I said what I said. I'm not leaving the ship. Hey, he's a real one, you know. He's a real one, bro.
No one bidded for him.
I'm not leaving the ship. I'm not leaving the ship.
Put 50 mil on Onana's head over the left. So that's what you do. You bid for him. Hey, Onana comes out the team.
It had me looking at it different. There was a little bit more dog in him. It was a little bit more dog in him than I thought. I'm sorry.
Onana came and padlocked that midfield, the best midfielder on the pitch that day again. Well, you come in and then okay, cool. So Onana is on the pitch. That didn't happen. You lost that fight. You don't take Partey off for Jorginho because what are you trying? I think if you want to bring Jorginho on in that game, you take Xhaka off. You put Jorginho on Partey, and they literally sit in front of Everton's midfield as a double pivot, and then they just work out how to and be patient and try to pick Everton off because they're going to play a low block. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But taking Partey off to bring Jorginho on, taking Trossard off, taking Martinelli off to take what are you bringing Fabio Vieira for Odegaard? It's not gonna. No. To booking Tomiyasu for Ben White. No, just stop. Too many moving parts. You try to put two central midfielders in front of their midfield, and you just try to play in front of them. That's what I feel like we should have done, and we got it wrong. He got out coached, and it's fine. But you have them games, so no, it's no panic. You have them games, and we have them games. So yeah.
I like your point about not taking off Partey at 60 minutes. I think that was a bad mistake, just in the sense that I think he had a rib injury from the City game, but if he can play on, for me, you don't need to make that change in terms. You still need. That's kind of going like you still want Partey moving the ball, and as you said, they're playing a low block, so you just have to try and hope that you find that gap or whatever in order to make that chance. Again, you look at the midfield. The midfield is where they've really locked, like in terms of the doubling up on your wingers, and they're saying there's certain people in this Arsenal team that can have it. There's certain people that we don't. We don't want Saka isolated against Mikalenko. That's a mismatch. Dwight McNeil and Onana, you're gonna work together and just clump up that space. Don't just clump it. Just make sure that if he's turning in, he's gonna pass it back to Partey or he's gonna pass it to Ben White. There's no way he's feeding Odegaard.
Ben White couldn't get on the overlap enough. It was awful. It was awful. It was padlocked.
They clumped it like that. That's difficult to work through. Because, as you say, Sean Dyche, you know what you're getting with Sean Dyche. He's not here to make it pretty. Man's here to clump up that midfield, make sure that your best players have no space in the areas that they want space to do their dirt. That's the basics of it. I think Nathan made a good point here about why was Arsenal doing zonal on their corners. I think Tarkowski just made that was just a really, really, really good set piece from Everton, and they put a couple good set pieces on you lot's head that game where
because we don't concede corners really. We've conceded 2 corners recently, one to Martinez, Alessandro against Arsenal, and then this one. Aside that, we don't concede corners.
But Everton, it's short. That's Sean Dyche's game plan, though. You know, with Sean Dyche, they're not going to create loads through open play. But it's going to be the crosses and it's going to be the set pieces.
So they can afford to double up and waste all their energy defending because they know we'll get a corner.
Tarkowski, I think Tarkowski started his run like edge of the box. Odegaard's obviously in that zone there trying to pick him up. And I think instead of Odegaard leaving Tarkowski, or maybe Tarkowski kind of pushed him into that zone, because when Tarkowski made that run, it literally looked like he was weighting Odegaard into that area. Like it literally looked like he was weights and Odegaard into that area. So I think it kind of made it difficult for the defender in the zone behind to come and like challenge Tarkowski because Odegaard was still there. So it was a bit like, honestly, in terms of their set pieces, it was great. Like that was Sean Dyche's influence right there. That was literally Sean Dyche.
Ranks from the outside in, what does this do for Arsenal, considering obviously City's lost today? Does anything change? Or does anything change?
Long season, man. You're not gonna win all the games. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna go a season without having these sort of results. For me, nothing's really changed with Arsenal, especially considering the fact that City lost, and then you've got City at the Emirates basically next week. Was that next week now?
No, it's on the 15th. We've got Brentford next, then City.
But
I was going to say, did you before this match that City just lost? Did you think this is a serious blip for Arsenal? This is where it comes crumbling down. Be honest.
I thought that it doesn't come crumbling down for Arsenal, but this is like where Arsenal lost on Saturday. If City is able to win this game and go on their run, maybe this is where the pressure gets put on. But
I don't think City is ever going for that run. I feel like that run is everyone.
As we said, you're right. As in, City haven't shown us that they're capable of going on that run. So for me, like the Arsenal losing is not a sign of they're gonna crumble. For me, it was just more of an opportunity for City to come back into it. But as you said, they haven't shown any consistency to go on that sort of run where they can sort of run away with the league. So yeah, no, I think the fact that you're facing City again so soon, like in 10 days or whatever it is like the perfect opportunity. Like, I think the title was decided by the 21st. Like I think in the next couple of weeks, this title was decided.
At the end of Feb, we know who's winning. Is that what you're saying?
I don't doubt that, because if Arsenal are able to put that nail in the coffin, I don't see how that City ain't coming back from that. They're not coming back.
They'll drop more points and they'll just keep like they'll pull away.
Man said that was our set piece Techers guy. Don't put it on him, man. He just got here. I just got here yesterday, man. Just chill out on me.
Let's move over. Let's shuffle across. Well, technically to the red side of Merseyside, but they were in Molineux, I believe.
West Midlands. You can't go to West Midlands unprepared, man. We'll give you a party.
Went to the black country and thought they could get something on that super team. Oh wait! Let's go.
Oh wee! Oh man!
Lopetegui's Wolves.
It's moments like this that I'm just really appreciative to be in group chats with Liverpool fans, man. Like,
all right, I didn't watch the game, but what I've seen, people are sending
big screen. I can't lie. United on the laptop put Liverpool on the big screen.
People are sending me, honestly, people are sending me the in-house fighting on these spaces between Liverpool fans. It is the most, like, you'll hear it like there, and a lot of them are like from, I think, Arab Emirates, like Mo Salah, like Egypt as well. Like, so people are just, it is the funniest thing ever. So let's start with the main talking point. Is Klopp done?
No. But
okay.
If it wasn't Liverpool, there'd be a lot of clubs that would have sacked him by now. And if Liverpool were to sack him, there'd be no, like, he couldn't have any qualms with it, basically. He couldn't have no qualms if Liverpool decided to sack him. And I don't say Klopp is done, because he's not done. I think even if he gets sacked and goes to another job, he's still going to be a top manager. But Liverpool should have, like, we see this playing out in the past, and we think, oh, if you had the balls to sack him at this moment, you could have saved yourself a whole load of trouble. Liverpool should actively be looking at the market and thinking, how can we improve on Jurgen Klopp? I think a lot of clubs just have the idea that it has to be this guy, or like this. If we sack this guy, it's gonna go downhill from here.
I don't think that, to interject. I feel specifically not that. I feel like a lot of clubs think the wheels have to fall off.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Go through. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, it has to go it has to go terrible. Like, it has to be like infighting, flipping 10 losses on the bounce, or 7 losses in 10, whatever, before we realize, it's gone too far. We actually need to change something now. If Liverpool are smart, and as I said, that Klopp is a legend at Liverpool, whatever. But if you're smart, you're already thinking, what can I do to improve this team? What can I do to improve on Jurgen Klopp?
I'm gonna say this. There's no point changing Jurgen Klopp if you're not going to give the next person money. So this is why it's not Klopp. Klopp hasn't been backed properly since Liverpool actually won the league. Since Liverpool actually won the league. Last time Klopp, I would say, was backed to like a champion standard was when they got the Fabinho, the Alisson, the Van Dijk, that era there with the Coutinho money. But since then, the transfers haven't been good. Yes, you draw on Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez and Cody Gakpo. It's marginal. It's marginal compared to what their rivals are doing. The caliber, the regularity of signing these caliber of players, it's few and far between. You can't be signing one every window. You have to have a window where, the good old days, the multiple windows. Where you see Alex Ferguson or you see Arsene Wenger on deadline day with 3 signings. Like, the good days.
Owen Hargreaves, Nani, Anderson, all in one row.
All in one row. Who was it? Who did Ronaldo sign with? Was it Kleberson or something? Ronaldo and Kleberson.
Kleberson.
Arsenal's one was after the 8-2. Arsenal's was like Mertesacker, all these man, Podolski. Listen, you gotta do it. You gotta sign. Obviously, Arsenal's not a great example, but you have to be able. And then secondly, you need to be able to drop money on these signings. There was a window where, like, I was asking Tem and Chim, who do they want? And this was like, they were like, Mbappe. Back then it was like laughable, but like it was like, Mbappe's linked to Liverpool. And even Liverpool fans somewhat didn't believe that Mbappe would come, but they had a little bit of, they were on the road. I think this was like 2019. They were like, why can't he come? But now it's like you've lost that razzmatazz of like the unknown, the new kid, the new hot team in town. Your team's not, it's pomp. It's like, so you've never really been able to attract these players. If you look at it now, the biggest player you attracted at the height of their career was probably Keita.
I think you make such a good point in the sense that when Liverpool first started the project, they signed like Sadio Mane, they signed.
They were fringe players. They were fringe players.
They weren't the superstars yet. They weren't the superstars, and it fit where their project was. And then they signed the Alisson Becker, who still wasn't a superstar. He signed
and all these. What you need to remind, football was a little bit different then because clubs were more of selling clubs were more of selling clubs then. You could go and throw money at Southampton and say Van Dijk's coming. We've not this window next. You could throw money at Newcastle, even though they were relegated, and say we want Ronaldo, or we want Mane from Southampton, we want this player, we want that. You could do it. You could do it then a lot more. Now it's harder to get players, and you ain't even throwing the money around. So when for me, why Klopp's one's tight is because if you're gonna sack him, the next manager, even if it's gonna be Luis Enrique, whoever the hot manager is, then you can't not give him money because you'll be in the same situation. And secondly, Klopp, you have been too soft on ownership in the presses over the years. You've defended them and you've made yourself, you are suffering because of how you've never signed a deal on. Do you get what I mean? Also, people getting onto Klopp's talent ID or the transfers not really working out. For example, they always draw on the Keita one. A lot of managers' transfers don't work out, but because it's so few, Klopp's, it's like, okay, Klopp will sign 4 players and 1 or 2 won't work out. It's skewing the results because it's so little.
For me, as much as we can say that Klopp hasn't been backed, we still have to talk about why these people, like, what is it with these? Because as bad as they are, there's no excuse for losing 3-0 away to Wolves, 2-1 and then 3-0 to Brighton, like picking up 4 points in 2023. Like you can blame the money as a wider structure, but at the same time we also need to zero in on Klopp. You can also coach like the players that you have. Like at a certain point, you just have to admit that the coaching isn't working right now. Like you can buy whatever players. The coach, whether it's a quality issue combined with a coach, it's not working right now. So I feel like it's easy to get, and it's easy to get distracted by the money debate, but at the same time, you've got enough quality in this squad where you shouldn't be getting pammed up by Wolves. I hear
you're completely right still. You're right still. But I think it's 2 things. The coaching, I feel like Klopp seems to be one-dimensional now, and even though he has several dimensions to him, he's a world-class coach. but I feel like because his plan A don't seem to work nowadays. That scattergun high press approach doesn't seem to work. So the plan B of it seems like the only plan. So it's one dimensional in the coaching because the A doesn't really work. It doesn't exist anymore in terms of they haven't got the energy to do it. And also, I believe why they're losing to teams in which they're supposed to beat on paper is because when you come that close to winning, like they played City to one point, it's almost impossible to psych yourself up again. You have to change job. Think about the normal day-to-day jobs we do. If you come so close to getting a promotion, it's like, what am I going to do next year to, like, I don't know how to describe it, but the personnel needs to completely go. Why Klopp's to blame as well in terms of, aside the one-dimensional coaching, just quickly, Spence, why he's to blame as well, he's been very complacent and I would say proud and arrogant in being able to rely on the same more or less 12 to 13 players over 4 years. Remember when we used to speak about it in terms of like the 3 years and it's the same players after 3 years? Before all those injuries happened, remember when we're like, they've been so lucky. Like,
this was pretty much after they won the Prem.
Yeah, this is like, and we're like, they've been so like lucky, like all this time they've been playing the same 11 players week in, week out, and no one got injured. That's why it looks like this now. Because it's like they've fallen off a cliff. Like they were performing at optimum for like 4 to 5 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, Klopp has to have the foresight. That's what the best manager. If you want to put him with the best managers, Ferguson was almost by far the clearest at this in terms of foresight. You don't wait till the wheels fall off. You don't wait till the wheels fall off before someone gets gone and before someone falls off a cliff. But
like I said, Klopp has killed these players physically.
100%.
Yeah, you're relying on the likes of Henderson, Thiago,
Milner, Fabinho. That was a surprise. Fabinho, Robertson. He brought Tsimikas. I think Tsimikas that's the only area that he's looked at and been like, outside attack is been like, okay, let me give Robertson competition and let's make some rotation there. Since Trent's entered the team, Trent's never had competition. Trent's like 24 now or 23 now. Trent started when he was like 18. How are you going to tell me that's not complacency? How are you going to tell me that's not Klopp's fault? And then it goes back down to, okay, but who have they given him money to buy a right back, or the money which they've given him is so little he has to prioritize urgent roles rather than squad players?
He got money this winter and he went and bought flipping Cody Gakpo.
That's irresponsible.
Irresponsible. That's the perfect way to put it, because
that's
you got your midfield is bleed like Bayetic. For 18 years old, he looks all right. I can't lie. He looks decent. He looks like he hopes, but he doesn't help you win games. He's not helping you win games right now.
Well, this is what they got to do. I feel like even that Nunes money, we could have really spread. They should have got Cunha. That you put 35 mil, you get him. He does the job. Like, he's good enough. Like, now it's coming like they might have to get Yuri Tillemans and Neves.
Literally. Literally, because your midfield has been bleeding, and it's not something that's not new. That's not new, because we've been talking about your midfield since 2020 and like ways that you can improve your midfield and what Liverpool can do to freshen that up. But
wasted Salah's best years. Come like it.
Hey man, Salah, you also signed a 400k contract and it ain't been the same since. It's not been the same since. You also need to buck up your ideas, because right now, again, he looks like he's playing that sort of, I want to say traditional winger role, but he's never in impact. He's never
not getting close enough to. They're just not getting the ball close enough to the goal with him on it. It's just simple as.
And every time I see him like running in on goal, or it's just, again, maybe that's lack of chemistry, because who did he play with up front? Gakpo and Nunes this against Wolves, and it's just, when it looks like no chemistry, that's really what no chemistry looks like. Thiago's a shadow of the man he was. Yeah, again, he's probably the one that plays with the most intensity in that midfield.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best players. He's one of the best players right now. But what's
most intensity in that midfield? But it's still not enough.
It's nowhere near. Thiago having the most intensity is like being the tallest midget, as Jay-Z once said. Like,
we're not using that word. We're not using. Oh my god. But I said, is Klopp done? We've kind of talked about that at the beginning. We both kind of said no, but at the same time, Liverpool shouldn't be shouldn't be thinking that it's impossible to replace Klopp. Like, there's no reason to not think that your club legend cannot get replaced. Like,
you replaced Dalglish.
literally, it can be
You
done.
replaced
It
Dalglish.
can be
It can
done.
be done.
Wakpo has no PMP. Hey, man.
Jesus.
Just make sure you give the same energy that you was giving all the other signings, because
It's 35 mil. Just let it cook.
Just let him cook. Less money.
35 mil. Yeah, less money is calm. Salah's playing like he's on paid holiday from Nathan. This kind of what aligns with what you said, Banks. All in all, before we come off Liverpool, what's the aim? Because I still think they do that in the Champions League.
I don't think they do. Real Madrid on some terrible form as well, but I don't think they do that.
Awful form.
I think at this point you can't make no more signings. You're kind of stuck with you just hope to get the players back from injury. You got Jota and Firmino and Luis Diaz to come back from injury. Hope you can like embed them and maybe it goes up a little bit, but I don't expect it to jump. I don't expect their level to jump massively between now and the end of the season. I don't expect them to be anything close to what they used to be. So at this point, it's about finding the right combinations for next season. What players can actually make an impact when you possibly improve next season? Who can contribute to that? Probably, like at this point, Fabinho doesn't deserve to come back into the team. So keep playing Bayetic, see what he can contribute.
Sell him. At this point, this is what I'm saying. You got to have the spirit of Saf. Somebody like Ferguson. He gets rid of Fabinho. I'm not having it. I'm not having this. Get rid of him. We sold him. Like, I haven't got time for this. Depending on, as a manager, you're thinking as well, how long am I going to be? If you know you're here for a good time, not a long time, then I guess you keep Fabinho. If you're still here for a couple of seasons, you shot him now. Try to get 30 mil or something, or you shot him, take him to Italy. Like, and you replace it. Listen, he's done his job. Some people ain't supposed to be here the whole course. Do you know what I mean? But you have to make moves. Like, you have to be aggressive. But I agree with you. All or nothing next season for Klopp. If not, just walk, because you don't need this. You don't need this on your legacy. They won one of everything in this 5-year window. It's not good enough in the grand scheme. If they've just won everything once.
Yeah, no parade. That does it. So having this argument.
And the one in which they could have had the parade, they did. But they won before, so that's Champions League. By the way, Milan derby's kicked off, guys.
Today. Someone's having this argument on the TL today. They were saying, you won the Premier League when there was no fans, no parade. How do we even know it happened? Hey. Hey, literally, show me the pictures. Show me the pictures. Or you can show us some fucking Zoom calls, bro. Or you could, Liverpool fans were jumping on the Zoom calls back there trying to celebrate in their living room.
Yeah. We were like, we don't care. All right, cool. Let's quickly, before we leave, sorry. We're coming back into it in a couple of weeks.
We're doing Old Trafford, bro. We're going Old Trafford. We need.
Why?
I've got some people to shout out. I've got some people.
Oh God. Go on, hurry up. 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Wait, what?
Alejandro Martinez.
Wait, what? Where'd you get a little pink? Go put your mom's shopping list back down, man. What the hell you mean? Guy, bro.
Hey, Lisandro Martinez, before you came, I never thought about a centre back being below.
This is a poem? Oh, shit.
It's a poem. I never thought a centre back below 6 foot could ever capture my heart. But here you are, a heart stealer. Where would I be without you, Hermano? Butcher! Oh my God, he's the best centre back in the world. He's the best centre back you've ever seen played a beautiful game of football. Where would we be without you? Oh my God, Eric Garcia, I curse you for making me think that 5'10" centre backs were not a thing. You just needed the dog to execute it. What you needed is the necessary heart, the necessary dog to be 5'10" and play centre back. I didn't think it was possible before, but it's possible. Martinez, you've rocked my world. You've changed everything about me. You've changed my thinking. What are these bars? This is a poem. This is a sonnet. This is a fucking haiku. Oh my god.
They're showing. Why they keep showing him? He's
First,
like.
First things first. Black Lives Matter. No more pie. You're scum. You're. Hey.
Nah, why they keep and they've shortened it? They've shortened this like 3 times.
I hope, bro. Next time they need to make him 5'5". He'd be the best 5'5" centre back to grace this earth. Lisandro Martinez. Hey, oh my god. Where would Lisandro Martinez?
So Casemiro got a red. Let's start there.
Casemiro got a red. Should have never been a red. These
How
lot
many
are
more
not
matches
using
is he
VAR
missing?
properly. Say that again.
How many more matches is he now missing again?
3 matches, but he doesn't miss the final. But
Okay. Same with Bruno G.
The referee. That's the thing with VR, because what they actually showed and what happened is 2 completely different things. Obviously, they show Casemiro in a very incriminating position where his hands are around Will Hughes' neck. And from that position, it looks so mad. It looks crazy. But what actually happens, it looks crazy. Man said I'll posterize Martinez. But what actually happens is he's just trying to settle it down and he's just trying to pull Will Hughes away. So the fact that he now gets a red card for that situation, it annoyed me because I looked at the pictures and I think you don't even, like, the whole situation was mad unnecessary. Anthony gets fouled, he gets pushed into the hoardings, and it's a whole scuffle. And it looks like Casemiro's trying to choke him out, but in reality, he's just trying to settle down the situation. But it leaves us with 10 men, 2-0 up, and it makes it a much more shakier game than it needed to be. Jeffrey Slot? I said he didn't want to made a victim, fam. I cried. Hey, but it just meant a back to the walls performance. But in previous seasons, I won't lie, we lose that match, or we concede in the last minute and it's 2-2. We easily lose that match, but there was so much intensity. Like when you had to defend with 10 men, there was so much intensity from all across the pitch to defend that lead. That just simply wasn't there last season. It simply wasn't there last season. Rashford up front, covering the ground. That was probably the most intense performance I've seen from Rashford all season. That last 30 or so minutes, that's probably the most intense performance I've seen from Rashford. Who else needs a shout out from that match? Sabitzer
How did he play?
He had a nice little 10-minute cameo and he was pretty good. I can't lie. He moved me a little. He moved me.
Good player. He's a good player.
I saw the intensity that, like, Ten Hag said from the training, just from the first session, he sees very fit, a lot of energy, and he was covering a lot of ground in that last 10 minutes. Who else? Bruno.
Lastly, we know to round this up because come on, man. Come on.
It's United. What box office? I even left it to the last minute. I said Lokonga came on and the game went back to 10v10. I said Sabitzer hat covering the ground hat. Nathan, get this hair off now. Because when
Sabitzer, how did Anthony play?
Cash money. How did Anthony play? Good in possession, good with the little intricate, like, little passes, but again, he kills he actually needs to be able to counter-attack. It's so inevitable what happens when Anthony's on the counter. He's got to run, hold it up, and then come back.
Try to come back or cut in.
He actually needs to add a take-on game, or be able to take on his defender in counter-attack. Like, this is not just in terms of when you have the ball out wide and you've got like 2 players on you. I'm not saying take them on in that situation, but if you're running 1v1, like, you need to, and he can do it. So, like, that's the thing. There was times when he took on his defender in weird situations and he got through and he got past. I was like, oh, so you can do it. But in transition, it's like every single time he's going to make the decision to cut back, just pass it off. Like, in those situations, he needs to be much, much better. Like, that's just from a standard winger point of view. Like, if you're a winger and you're in transition and you've got the chance to run at your fullback, you have to take, like, nobody's going to blame you for taking that chance to run at your fullback. Nobody's going to be angry if a winger decides to take on a defender in transition. You need to be able to, like, I don't know whether it's a mentality thing. He doesn't want to lose the ball, but he needs to be able to take on his defender in those situations. But I think I don't think he's been bad recently. I think he's like from that post World Cup period when he was pretty shocking. I think he stepped up the level. He's getting a bit more comfortable. But again, you're attacker, so you need to be decisive in those moments. And more often than not, he's not decisive in those moments. I think that's the next step for Anthony if he's going to improve that, and using his flipping right foot. Not using your right foot is killing you, Anthony, because it's making the easiest pass.
As a professional, it's quite lazy.
As a professional, it just shocks me the fact that he's made it to this level.
You know, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You shouldn't be able to make it to this level if you can't use. If one foot's just for standing. If not, you should just not be at this level. Because how superb is that? How superb is that strong foot then?
Yeah, man. They're telling me he's about to unlock his Iron Robin package. So I'm just waiting.
Let's quick Champions League predictions. Who's making the final? I think Nathan said, "Can we quickly do that?" Or let's
cool.
let's save that for the European review show, man.
Yeah, we can make that a review show. To be fair,
Nathan,
love the question, but we're definitely gonna do a UCL preview show, so we can do that then. So make sure you look out for the when review comes back. Quick UCL predictions on the round of 16, and then we'll talk about who we got to win it. Been a while, but should we do FPL? Literally, it's been a while, but let's tuck in.
Oh no, that's how I know you had a good week. You make me.
Bro, you think I had a good week? Captain Haaland, come on, bro. 38 points, come on, bro.
It's not looking good, bruv.
Cancelo's still in my back four. Jesus Christ. Why the fuck?
That's not even possible.
I said Cancelo's still in my back
Captain Rashford. So, right, finding Neto, Evie, still top of the league, by the way, but his team, he triple captain Rashford, got 36 points, got Kane in his team, Fernandes in his team, who got 10 points, Kepa, who got 10 points, and that's it. I think he got 80 points in total, but yes, he did triple captain Rashford. But who got the highest amount of points this week?
Junior as well. It's Evie.
Yeah, it was him, top of the league, and he got the highest points. Touche.
There's a reason he's top of the league. But Abdi Khalik, literally right up his ass, though. Literally right up his ass. 71 points.
You very wild comments today for me.
And he's 4 points behind Junior AV. So yeah, now you lot doing your thing, man. Me, I'm gonna come back next season. Literally, I'm a because I lost focus after the World Cup. I will not lie to you. I lost focus. I stopped changing the team. It wasn't great. You're right. It's a double week, so Rashford's still got. If you got, oh my god, he triple captain Rashford, and Rashford's got another game in this week.
Got Leeds.
Counter attack. You know the vibes. Leeds. You watched the Leeds match today.
Leeds are the best playing team to always lose.
They literally start the game like a house on fire and then still concede first.
And then concede first, and then it continues to just drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. And then they lose the game. They did this against Forest. They did this against Villa. They did this. The last win, I think, was it Chelsea? No, it was Somerville. Leeds.
Bournemouth.
Probably Leeds. Probably Liverpool. Sorry.
No. They got one after that. I think Bournemouth was like a 4-3 or something. I said Leeds are the Grizzlies.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
I said all but no bet.
Yeah, it's
58 solid ball. What do you think about I think we talked about this will be the last thing before we sign off. But Newcastle, 1-1 draw against West Ham at St James's Park. Their 10th draw of the season. Do you think with Spurs like picking up 3 points a day, back in that top 4 race essentially? Do you think Newcastle have enough to get over the line?
They have enough to get away with it. What everyone needs to understand is Spurs have played a lot more, like 2 more games than everyone else, or a game than everyone else. So they always look a lot closer than they actually are. Obviously, points on the board's better than games in hand, but I trust. I don't know. I feel like Newcastle can do it. They're just such a well-coached team. This is the first goal they've conceded in like 11 games. And it's like, no, this is the first goal they've conceded in 6 games, but they're like 11 unbeaten. They can do it still. All Newcastle have to do is win, continue like win. If they win, lose in that format win 2 out of 3 for the rest of the season. They'll stay in top 4. That's it. They're in such a good position. So yeah, and I don't think that's a lot to ask for.
I'm looking at the table now. For me, as I said, I think they made a good signing for me and Anthony Gordon. He came on had a good debut. He had
Great
had a
point
nice
as well. Great point.
Only have the Carabobins final to focus on
Calamari
this
left,
season.
and that's it. So they literally have 18 games left, 19 with the Calamari. 19 games left. That's it.
I think it's techie for them. I think it's techie for them in terms of, do they have that extra something to go? Again, not many of their players would have been in a similar situation where they're actually chasing top 4 and they're trying to be in this running where they're trying to get to some of the bigger accolades. And I looked at their squad and I thought they need probably 1 or 2 big names to come in, or 1 or 2 big signings to come in January if they're going to maintain this push. And they brought in Anthony Gordon, which I thought was a nice addition. But for me, I think another midfielder would have went down smoothly for them. I think another midfielder, because for me, the midfield sometimes loses a little something as the game wears on and they're not winning. You also got the likes of Alexei Manson, who came in for this match. It was all right-ish again, but he hasn't started in a while and he didn't look mad exciting. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be too much too soon for them this time around. I think it might be. I'm not sure if they get through. I'm not sure if they get through it this time around. Anthony Gordon should have been 500k. Respect. That's the thing with Anthony Gordon, because I feel like there's a good player there, but they're throwing around 60 million, 50 million.
Anthony Gordon's 15 million. Anthony Gordon for me is the same as when they signed Dan James.
No.
I can't lie. All right, cool.
It's mad about.
All right, cool.
I get why people like. For me, he's being mad. He's mad overpriced, but for me, there's good material there to work with him. I think there's good material to work with, but yeah, for me, he hasn't shown it in the Premier League, so I understand why people maybe don't.
I agree.
That's a cool 7.5 million from there. That's where we sign off. I'm gonna slow it down still. Yeah, he's letting Grealish back into the conversation. Ebbs and flows, man.
Cool.
Thank you, people, for joining us today for the final third review. If you're in the building, make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, all of that good stuff. I've been your host today, Banks, joined by my ever faithful co-host, Lavish. Have a lovely, lovely Sunday evening. Good night.
You are now listening to The Final Third.
I think Pepe's so comfortable.
Well, you should be in
just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We bailed you out. We bailed you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us.